So, good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining, all of you. I'm Dr. Syed Salman Ali. I'm the Training and Education Head for ROOTT, and we are talking about something extremely unique today. You heard of different prosthetic options, and ROOTT today have developed something extremely unique, and we would like to share this with you. So today I have with me Dr. Dainius Karpavicius. He is an extremely skilled surgeon and an implant surgeon with lots of experience, especially on the prosthetic side. And he will give you the insight about how conometric solutions is a game changer in implant prosthetics. So welcome, Dr. Dainius.
Hello, dear Dr. Salman. Nice to meet you. Hello, dear visitors. Hello, dear colleagues. So I think I will start our conversation, our lecture for today, and we will try. We will try to have some discussions. Might be sometimes with Dr. Salman because he has a lot of knowledge in this type of prosthetic treatment as well, and we changing our minds, our some solutions, and of course during this time we will try to give you as much as it possible theoretically to understand what is this method and what it has in our daily prosthetic treatment solutions. So, of course, we should understand that in implantology, prosthetic is the main core. It is the main thing that we should stream for because no one needs implants. Our patients need for prosthetics, for teeth, and so prosthetic is like a ruling on everything in implantology. And for today, meanwhile, I know 5 different types of fixation of fixed dental prosthetics in implantology. One of them, all these 5 types are for both implant solutions, for both implant types, monolithic and 2-piece regular implants as well. So I will start from cemented. This is old type. Of course, we find that meanwhile it is in usage, and this is like a method with its positive and negative outcomes. This is one of them. Another possibility is screw cement retained prosthetics. That means when doctor of prosthetics or dental technicians are cementing our prosthetic constructions on abutments, no matter if these are T-base or multi-unit secondary abutments, we cement our teeth, our prosthesis on these abutments, and then we fix into the mouth while screw retain. This is like a hybrid screw cement retain prosthetics. Then when real screw retain, when we don't use any cement additionally, usually this kind of retention is dedicated to multi-unit solutions. And in this type, for today, we usually use digital parts of multi-units, or sometimes casting parts for casting that are factory made. And we don't use such kind of titanium T-bases, which previously have been described while cemented screw retain possibilities. So this is real screw retain possibility. Another one is also dedicated for multi-units. This is screwless retained, and this is also like something unique fixation, but this is dedicated for full arch, usually for full arch reconstructive. And the fifth is conometric. Conometric is the method that we will describe today. We will share our information and knowledge about this type of fixation. And as I said previously, conometric is, as well as all previous implants, they can be used for regular two-piece implants and monolithic implants as well. And conometric might be used as for single tooth and for bridge type as well, and sometimes for full arc solutions also. But usually this method is for single or bridge type, and mostly it is useful in premolar and molar area. So what is this conometric crown? This is the secondary crown made in factory with super high precision. Because the connection, as you will find later on, have to be very predictable, very firm, and metal to metal has to bond very precisely to have long time predictable stability in the mouth. So now you see on the screen real conometric caps. They have a bit difference because they have different height of the steps. I would like to say from my practice that ECK conometric cap is about, I think, 98-99% of usage in our daily practice, what we recognize during all years of usage of this kind of method while doing prosthetics. And this crown comes like secondary crown, and the primary crown abutment is AK, and we have different heights of this abutment from 0.5 millimeter to 4 millimeter. So finally, for two-piece classical implant, we have such kind of construction: implant, primary abutment, and conometric like secondary abutment, which is connected with the dental prosthetics. Here on the slide, you can see other instruments that are useful for manipulating of these products. So we can see external K for insertion of AK abutment. We see screwdriver and especially screw dedicated to conometric FSK screw, and conometric crown remover SR, and it is a very, very important instrument, because to remove conometric from the abutment just by fingers is very difficult. But while we are using this crown remover SR, it's very easy. 2, 4, 5 Newton centimeters, and your conometric crown goes out from the connection. So schematically, here you can see differences between our regular daily principles of prosthetic treatment while we're using T-bases. Yes, we can see here on the right part of the screen the construction of the fixation like on T-base. T-base is like a tube with a screw inside, and the dental prosthesis has been fixed to T-base, and T-base goes into the implant, and we have screw retained. Meanwhile, for conometric, we have implant, abutment, and then conometric crown that is necessary for fixation on top of it prosthetics, and conometric crown was fixed on it, cemented on it prosthetics. The dental crown is cemented to conometric crown, and then one conometric crown without any cement goes on top of primary abutment. And then this is like a construction that lifts us from the area of the connection in the bone bone level or subcrestally where we have abutments and implants connection, and we are going on the upper floor on the level of the soft tissues. I mean here where we have more safety and more friendly to all surroundings of our prosthetics. Technically, conometric has, as we know in our system, in the mm, in the internal cone of the implant, we have 5 degrees, and the same connection we have on the external abutment here, where the conometric crown fixes. And this external cone is also about around 5 degrees. That gives us this very firm and very predictable, let me say, cold welding fixation, because it is bonding metal to metal. Previously, you've seen, if I will come back, these types of abutments are solid, are monolithic, but we have as well angulated abutments that are made also for conometric. And then when we are doing bridge type solutions, and if our implants are diverging or converging to each other, we can use this type additionally of abutments. And then we have again possibility to make a bridge type without any cementation, and with the possibility of retrievability. That means we can refix this bridge whenever it is necessary. So the patent of this product, and we still keep this document on the way. And this is very important for us, because we made this patent of a very small reason for conometric crowns, of these findings that you can see here on this schematical drawing. These findings are very extremely important for conometric, because while manipulation in the mouth, these are mandatory to be, because by myself I'm doing surgery and prosthetic as well, and to understand all these feelings, what you can do in the mouth, all the manipulation and possibilities, like prosthetic doctor, I can tell you, like a specialist, it is very, very important part of conometric crown. So here you see some a bit schematically drawing, and you can see the length of abutment of conometric crown. It is 5 mm abutment. Then this is primer abutment. Yes, the secondary abutment, I mean conometric abutment, is about 6.5 mm. Even these parameters of technical parameters of abutments give the surgeon, and later on for prosthetic doctor, necessity to go from the implant, from the submerging, with a more natural outcome. Later on we will see on clinical cases, you will find that most of the prosthetics is very similar to our natural teeth, because when we have, especially in the molar area, not good height of the prosthetics, we receive quite often balconies, and these balconies are like a nightmare for tissues, and later on tissues might get periimplantitis, might get down here while we are submerging everything, because technically it asks for us to be more deep. Then you receive much more physiologically outcome of prosthetic solution, of prosthetic construction. Here also we can, if we feel, sometimes, for doctors it's not so easy to rechange in their mind and to free of some dogmas and to go out from screw retaining. So, of course, you can leave the screw if you feel that it is necessary. And meanwhile, you will see later on, if we are doing bridges, we can leave one screw if you see it is necessary. But from my experience, I can tell you that I made a lot of single crowns, especially for two-piece implants, because two-piece implants abutments have a shaft inside. Comparing to monolithic, they don't have shaft inside. Two-piece abutments for conometric have shaft inside, and this allows the screw to tighten even more metal to metal, and then this bonding metal to metal is very, very strong and very, very predictable. So I have a lot of single crown without any screws, and they are still very nice serving for my and our patients. So now I would like to turn a bit why conometric is useful for classical implants. Why? What for? We found this type, we found this method, and might be we can work as previously with regular solutions, and we are happy about this. But my friends, I can tell you that during all this about 25 years of experience, I passed a lot different types of fixation, and for today, for premolar and molar areas, conometric for me is something what I don't even to go back, to turn back, and this is the best solution for me. And for myself, here I found a lot of advantages comparing to all other methods that I described previously. Of course, as I said, every method has its advantages and disadvantages, but when we're talking about the single crowns, when we're talking about bridges, one line bridges, for me, this type of prosthetic solution of prosthetic treatment is one of the best. So for me, for today, I found, as you see here, even 11 advantages, and I will quickly try to go step by step through all of this. So one of them, or even two of them, is biological and very good and amazing submergent profile, especially when we started to use individualized zirconia gingiva formers. Of course, biologically, we know the zones that are surrounding our peri-implant environment. Thank you, Dr. Salman. You shared with me some pictures of this, and I will use, as you allowed me in my lecture. So we know that this green zone, this C letter from ABC principle, is the most sensitive. And while we're doing regular intervention in our prosthetic treatment, every time while we are reconnecting, while we are doing impressions, while we are measuring our abutments, we are irritating this zone. And this is a very sensitive connective tissue zone. And from some investigation of Dr. Abrahamson with his team, they found that these repeated disconnections might cause early peri-implant bone loss, and later on, of course, might cause peri-implantitis. And for today, unfortunately, we have a quite big percentage of peri-implantitis of these solutions that we made in the past, what we have previously. I hope for today we know additionally new rules, additionally new methods, and I hope that we will escape of this nightmare, because peri-implantitis is a nightmare for us and a nightmare for our patients. And I would like to say that in today's our daily practice, while we're using this type of conometric treatment, the word of perimplantitis is so rare. We find very, very rarely, including that we are not doing a lot augmentative procedures. Augmentative, not only bone, but what is very important, soft tissues procedures. And especially not only maxilla, but mandible. Mandible is very sensitive for this. So while we're doing this kind of treatment, we try not to irritate this connective tissue zone. This is a very, very sensitive zone. This is like the investigation of one abutment, one time. One abutment, one time solution is the best in implantology. But anyway, it is very, very important to have very strong and predictable construction of the prosthetic to fix it and to forget for a long time, because I've seen different constructive solutions of this style, one abutment, one time, but not all of them, unfortunately, are so firm and so good. So for me, for today, as I said, conometric is very predictable and very, very stable fixation. So what is our goal for today? We can go two ways while during surgery. Either put implant and put all what is necessary later on. Primer abutment, secondary like gingiva former, and to leave implant open heel. If we found good primer stability of the implant and we are sure about the these couple months of osseointegration that this implant will survive. If we are not very sure, we can suture this implant and after a couple months open this implant and then want to put this primer abutment, put on gingiva former, and then one continuously go to prosthetic. So it depends on the doctor, depends on this clinical situation, depends on the skill of the doctor, and this is what the doctor decides by himself. But anyway, when we put primer abutment, we don't refix this part. And later on, as I told previously, we are working on the second level, on the second floor in the field of soft tissues like epithelium, and here our environment of the implant is much more friendly, no painful, no bleeding. Take a look at how the soft tissues look, and we don't go deeper close to the implant. It's not necessary for us because there it's our abutment with a 5 more or less degrees of cone. We close it. It's a very good seal of this part. Bacteria cannot enter this tight connection, and so why bone is very happy and is quite often above the implant. And later on, we're working just on the level of soft tissues. This case is about 2 years after. Take a look how a space a bit previously, putting implant, putting prosthetic, and after about 2 years, what nice conditions we have around this implant. Take a look. Quite often when we are talking, or my colleagues are talking about soft tissues and prosthetics, take an attention that quite often we are talking about upper jaw. But upper jaw is quite easy with soft tissues because we have close to it palatal, if it is considered a tuber, and to manage with this gingiva is easier. But take a look now, I will show you a lot of cases with mandible, because mandible is much more sensitive. The gingiva of mandible is worse. The condition in mandible, especially in molar area, is much more worse comparing to upper jaw. And here is another, again, solution while we put implant. Take again geometry of later on of our prosthetic outcome from the implant. It is quite natural, because if our implant will be more upper, the emergency profile will be very sharp and it will be like a balcony. And it for these cases, for especially molar area, it's not very nice, and so why sometimes it might cause the beginning of the peri-implant tissues problems. So this is again after a couple months. Again, next case, while we're doing premolar area, here we see molars and premolars, one line defect, and on one picture we can see splint, because when we're leaving conometric gingiva formers, more than one implant, we love to put a splint, because then we are more safety of the influence of the meal and especially of the tongue. Because no matter what primer stability of the implant it is, to predict the influence of the tongue is very difficult, because tongue is moving around these accessories 24/7 and no stops. So here it's doctor's solution, doctor's decision. But me, I like to do splints. I'm very safe on this. It takes about 10-15 minutes, and these couple months my implants are protected. Now, after the healing period, we sorry, this is not after the healing period. This is the slide that I wanted to show you more or less what we are creating. After the extraction of the tooth, we have emergency profile. And so why we quite often, while we're doing extraction and implant placement, we have quite often nice profiling of our prosthetics. Meanwhile, when we are coming to the situations when the teeth had been extracted long time ago, we have everything closed. Now our individualized gingiva formers asks to prepare the bed for them, because if the bed will be just only for the implant rounded, it wouldn't be comfort for seating of this kind of gingiva formers. And so what we are creating, we are coming back to like extracted roots, and we're doing the let me say grinding or slicing of the alveolar bone, and preparing the bed for our gingiva former, so creating the shape like previously it had been extracted. So why we later on have much more nice emergency profile around the conometric abutments, and why later on prosthetic continuously prosthetic treatment is so easy for prosthetic doctors. When prosthetic doctors, this is the material that we use for making a splint, but of course different countries might have maybe other solutions. Here in Lithuania we use this material, and continuously for prosthetic doctors, when he receive such nice prepared soft tissues, it's nothing to do, just take impression, go forward, dental technician gives the bridge or single crown, put it into the mouth, no any additional services or treatments for soft tissues. It is prepared already. It is very, very comfort for the prosthetic doctor and dental technician as well, and for the patient also. And take a look, what nice, what stable and good health of the soft tissues and surroundings of the bone around the implants, around the primer abutments that we put into the implant, and later on we didn't reconnect it. Another clinical situation, lower jaw has no molars, we put implants, we put individualized zirconia gingiva formers. after a couple months of healing, you see here the splint on top of gingival formers, and take a look again at the soft tissues. This is the beginning of the prosthetic, and nothing more to do, just only impression. Just only take an impression and go for the crowns or for the bridge. Depends on the clinical situation. And someone might ask, what does it mean, individual gingival formers? We made more or less around maybe 70 or 18 different forms of zirconia shapes. No, not zirconia. We made Estelle, yes, shapes, but we milled them from zirconia, and later on, all these zirconia gingival formers we cemented to factory-made conometric caps. TCK1, just only one cap is necessary to use for every zirconia gingival former. And then we receiving like not real zirconia, but a hybrid titanium zirconia gingival former, because single zirconia, if you will try to put on conometric abutment, on primer abutment, it will erupt. Zirconia is fragile material and it cannot resist the forces of the pressing while going on cone. When we cement this on the factory-made titanium conometric abutment, it stays stable, and you can use it, you can fix, you can do what you want, you can add additionally composite on top of it, you can fix a splint on it. Maybe you will create your own shape additionally, you know. It's creativity for long additives in everybody's clinics solutions. So another advantage is mechanical, because even for today we find a lot of persons who are grinding, who are biting very strongly of this time, of this intensive time, and we find fracturing of teeth, fracturing, unfortunately, of implants. And here, talking about our system, we understood that we have to be much more resistible with implants, because fracture of abutment, it might appear, but we can change it, or we can switch to monolithic abutments, which is much more powerful comparing to regular two-piece tube type T-base abutment. But if the implant fractures, it's completely total disaster. We have to remove everything. And working with our implants now, it's about maybe 12 years or more, and I'm asking also other doctors, but no one told me about the fracture of the implants. Maybe Dr. Solomon, you have any information, because for me it's interesting,
No.
sometimes mechanical, but I never ever.
We don't have fracture of implants actually, because we are using very
So
high-grade titanium. Our
it's
grade of
very
titanium.
important, because no, this is what we in the much more when the forces are bigger, where we can turn from the classical tube type abutment to monolithic abutment, and to reinforce our mechanical possibilities. Yes, I will share again the schematical. This is like a tube type abutment, and this is conometric on monolithic abutment. And take a look. I have a patient in our clinic which came with a fractured implant, and it's a, what can I do? What can I help him? I just had to remove this implant from other company, and we suddenly had the possibility, while we have a wide range of diameter of our implants, we fixed at once bigger diameter of the implant. We received good primer stability, and we even left these implants this implant at once open healed. And here you see, after surgery, after changing one implant to other, we switched to conometric solution, and we put this individualized gingiva former. And of course, for us, helped, I would like to say, multicortical fixation, because the more aggressive shape, this shape that we see on the picture and what we found in our geometry of implants, is much more better for different kinds of the bone. Of course, when the bone is more harder, maybe you have to prepare this bone, but when it is softer, you have much more possibilities to achieve this better primer stability, especially when it is necessary. Aesthetic question is also very sensitive, no matter that it is molar or premolar area. But for example, when we're doing bridge type, for me is a possibility just to leave one hole for ruling, for lifting the bridge, or tighten it with a screw, and later either to leave screw or to remove screw if it is necessary, if what I decide. But anyway, other two parts are without screws, without holes, and we're teaching how to prepare prosthetic from inside for the future, if in case it will be necessary to use the windings of the rest of the conometric caps. And so this is the bridge in the mouth. Sometimes we have bad positioning of the implant, and these holes are like a nightmare. And of course, in such cases, in such solutions, we can find something for myself while treating and while doing not maybe cemented, but fixation, but with a conometric, with the possibility of retrievability, or to remove the prosthetic if it will be necessary, might be after a year, or maybe after 5 years, or maybe after 10 years, no matter. And the most sensitive question and very important question is the residues of cement, where if we are doing cementation, we have no possibility of retrievability. We cannot remove the constructions of our constructions, and we sometimes if it is deeper emergency profile, we cannot control the remains of that cement. So we teach how to be much more predictable while we are doing not single crown but bridge type prosthetics, while to receive the most passive fixation, because cone is very good, it's very nice, very hermetic, very nice for the bone, but it's very sensitive mechanically and technically. And to understand some tricks how to manipulate with this is very important. Then you will have very passive, very nice fixation, and for the long term and good success. And here I am usually showing doctors that we cement crowns, bridge time crowns in the clinic. Then when we remove everything from the primer abutments, clean everything, and then we have the most passive constructions without any cement, any residue of the cement, very clean, very polished, and with the possibility to remove it whenever it is necessary, with the possibility of retrievability, as I told previously. This is a case of yesterday. The patient came to me with a problem of middle implant, and we have here a periimplantitis. And this place was a bit thin, and this construction is about, I think, 5-6 years old. And this is not very aggressive, something like periimplantitis, but she sometimes feels like sometimes gingiva feels not so very comfort. And now it's time for us to remove the bridge, because my colleague, doctor of periodontology, has to examine everything and to try to treat this periimplantitis. And it's very, very funny, but we use the middle one implant for reconnection of the bridge, and the comment from the patient was, doctor, it was so quick and so easy. I knew that like today, like tomorrow, yeah, like today, I will have a webinar talking about this. And it was like a funny for me because she gave me a comment that we are talking about. Doctor, it's so easy. Yes, we used to take a look. We just the middle one implant. And later on, take a look more carefully. This middle implant has no conometric. It has T base because this couple years ago, we had a thinner soft tissues and we couldn't use conometric on top. Might be it was my mistake, and might be I didn't submerge enough the implant. Might be it was the cause of the patient's mouth, other uh, how it influence this part. And now whatever we received this problem after the years, but here we have chosen the T base because with econometric we couldn't go upper because we were this time up of the soft tissue. So in the middle we used T base, regular T base, because with the T base you can be about maybe half of millimeter deeper, because conometric is a construction that even with the shortest abutment, with the shortest conometric step, you are a bit higher on the level. And here, if for example I submerge more implant or didn't have the thin tissues around these years ago, might be here also we could see conometric, and might be we didn't see the perimplantitis. But for today, we see here that the middle implant has a problem. Meanwhile, the lateral implants with the conometric caps, with the conometric solution, are very nice looking with a bone around it. And retrievability has been made by T-base, because T-base, like conometrics, also has bindings inside. And these bindings let me to reconnect very quickly, bridge, to open just only one hole to retake composite. So here the tissues in the mouth in day of periimplant treatment, and after treatment we give back this bridge to the patient, and we will see what will happen with this implant. Might be for the future, I'm not sure, maybe it will stay very stable and it will remains, or maybe we will have to remove it. But anyway, 2 implants also not bad for this kind of bridge. But anyway, it's a very fresh case as well, and I wanted to share with you as well. Divergence between implants, because not all solutions give us possibility anatomically to put implants quite parallel, because as I said, conometric has 5 degrees slope, 5 degrees fixation cone. And when we are doing bridges, the divergence or convergence between implants, we suggest might not overcome 10, 12, 13 degrees, because then one bridge will go on. If the implants divergate or convergate with more degrees, here we have an additional solution, angulated abutment. And here we have to understand that conometric is more or less similar to multi-unit, just very firm and very predictable, while multi-unit is very sensitive and very influenced by the possibilities of screw. And here, if the screw release, your construction is, especially one line construction, my time by time can have slow mobility. So conometric 5 cone 5 plus 5, as I told, 10 might be, of course, 12, 13 degrees, and the bridge will come on. Here is our special device, angle meter, that has a 10 degrees laser marker in time of surgery or in time of prosthetic, to understand what divergence or convergence is between implants. And here, if you have more than 10 or 12 or 13 degrees, you can switch to the angulated abutments that are also dedicated to conometric crowns. This part is done on top of it to fix conometric crown as well. Just angulated abutments are not solid. They are tube type, like T-bases as well. And they have 15 degrees angulation. And if we calculate, then 15 plus 5 of conometric, totally we have 20. So between straight abutment and one angulated abutment, we have 25 degrees of divergation possibility, 5 degrees of straight, and for our angulated, 20, totally 25. If between two angulated, we have 15, 15, 5, 5, totally 40 degrees of angulation. But construction of the bridge will be very firm and very predictable, very stable. It doesn't influence of any screws. It is just an influence of metal bonding. Thank you, dear Dr. Salman, of this picture as well. This is your picture. Thank you. So, of course, it is possibility to combine conometrics. Sometimes we have combinations with the front. And here, of course, in the front of the aesthetic region is better to use as small abutments as it is possible. I mean, T-bases. So T-bases have the same feature, just 5 degrees inside the implant. So between this combination, if it is bridge type, also 10 or a bit more than 10 degrees rule also exists. It might be combined conometric versus conometric. It might be combined conometric versus multi-unit. Then one we have 35 degrees because multi-unit have a 30 degrees low. Different combinations might appear depending on the anatomy of our prosthetic and first of all, of course, surgical solution. And here you can find again implant placement. Here on the left side, on the second quarter, we have sinus, and we try to bypass sinus, and the angulation between our first and second implants, we found that is less than 25 degrees. So we decided to use more rigid fixation. So in the first implant, we used T-base. Maybe for today, I would like to use in this premolar area conometric, but this is a long time ago. So we used T-base. And on angulated implant, we used angulated abutment for conometric. And then one pterygoid implant. On the first quarter, sometimes doctor asks if it is in the sinus. So for this reason, I put a picture to show that no, this is in the palatal bone. And but this is not our topic. Just I know this sometimes these comments, so I told at once to understand that this is not in the sinus. Yeah. So knowing couple numbers of the accessories of the prosthetic solutions give you more freedom. And sometimes after our lecturing, doctor says, no, when we hear this technical description from anybody, of course, maybe for me is easier because sometimes I'm also connected with engineers in the factory, and knowing these numbers, and though sharing with doctors, because I'm by myself a specialist doctor implantologist doing surgery, doing prosthetic, and knowing drawings, knowing all the features of accessories, it's more for me is more easier to share with you, dear colleagues, these numbers, and these couple numbers release you from the from your sometimes gives you more possibilities to understand everything. And now simple bridge comes into the mouth without any sinus lift, any additional augmentative procedures. More deep submerge. Sometimes we have thinner upper part of the bone, and we have to go more deeper with the implant to bypass this thin part. We can add a bit like a prophylaxis, some chips of the bone surround around this. But anyway, we are streaming to have our implant as more in natural bone as better, because we don't know sometimes after the time what will happen with our augmentative materials. And then submerging sometimes is like a protective of the problems, because with econometric we have a wide range of the possibilities. As I said, primary abutment is from the 0.5 millimeter to 4 millimeter, and conometric caps are from 0 millimeter to 3 millimeters. So totally we have even 7 millimeters of possibilities to go from the depth. So it's a very amazing long way and path. And sometimes we think that these depth is not so good, but we have different cases, a lot of different submergence, and these geometries and thickness of the abutment gives our tissues this connective tissue that are the couple millimeters, first millimeters above the implants, very firm, very rigid, and very protective from the possible problems for the future. So, as I said, conometric crowns we have even until 3 millimeters of the height. Here you see again submerged implants, quite deep submerged, because I like to submerge, because the second fresh case I showed today, Dr. Salman, is my mom. I put her today premolar. Maybe I will share in the end of this lecture, and I fixed this crown on conometric, and you will find what's happening with other implants that I put about, I don't know exactly, but about maybe 15 or more years ago. And we, talking about the biology, don't respect another additional changings in our patients, in our life, is aging. We're getting older, and whatever, it's a pity, but we're shrinkage a bit. And might be our nose, yes, and then palms are getting bigger, but all the body is shrinkage. And of course the bone also is getting conditions getting worse, and is less. And sometimes where you see after 10 years implants are quite in good condition, but the tissues are on the very level, flat level with the implant, and you cannot do something more aesthetic, more natural, while redoing new prosthetics, and you like a trap. So submerging of this gives you for the future additional possibilities and additional solutions, while, for example, after 10 or 15 years changing new prosthetics. And then if you, for example, today you have chosen abutment of 2 millimeters, after 10 or 15 years, you can switch to abutment of 1.5 millimeter, or even you can switch to regular T-base, the lowest, but you have additional possibilities for the future. So this reserve is very, very also important regarding the aging of our bodies, of our patients. Subsequent service, it's something very unique, because what we have here, when we have fracture of the implant, it's a nightmare. It's bad. But we never ever will have possibility to go into the metal and to understand its conditions after the years. Technically, we know that when it's examination of the implants and the accessories in the certificated laboratories, we have about fatigue tests that are about 5 million of testing chewing imitation. It's about 10 years. But what will be about 15? What about will be about 20 after 20 years? And here in this solution, what we can suggest for our patients, for example, you have possibility to inform patient, look, come after 10 years for changing of intermediate abutment. That means if everything is nice in the soft tissues, in the bone, you can refix crown, take off the primer abutment, change it into the new one. It will be like a fresh, new thing. Yes, put again to the implant, put the same crown back. Again, 10 years, you are free. So this is service that is also very unique, and part of your patients will be very happy because they will feel that you take care of them. This is not a question just only about hygiene. It's of course it's mandatory to take a occlusion service every 2 or 3 years because it's changing. And here you can additionally have a possibility to change parts of the construction. So it's also very important and very unique. And talking about the impressions, conometric gives again a very special, very unique precision of the impression. If we will put conometric round that will go to the lab, we can make an impression straightly from the conometric round, not from the primary abutment, not from the implant, but from the conometric round. We have created these nice transfers for impressions, and these transfers are 4-in-1. You can use the open impression analog way, straight from the primary abutment, straight from the conometric. This is the most precise. I will come back to this. Then when took out the screw, you can fix this transfer on conometric round and have close tray technique. If you are a bit lazy and you want to hurry not to do the hole in the spoon, and fourth, you can scan this transfer. So this is very multifunctional instrument for you. And coming back to the impression from the conometric round, when you are doing an impression from the conometric round that seated on this implant abutment, it has to go to the lab, and from the lab has to come back to the same abutment. For example, if you have bridge, this conometric cap has to be on the tooth 4, this conometric cap on the tooth 5, this conometric cap on the tooth 6, and no mixing. Just if it is on the tooth 4, it has to go to the lab and coming back again to the implant on the position tooth 4. The same on the 5 or 6 or anything. So then you are giving the final coordinates of the conometric cap. You are giving impression not from the implant, not from the primary abutment, but from this abutment that is for crown fixation. So for the bridges, it is the most precise impression type, and with the regular impressions, it is impossible to do such a way because technically there are some discrepancies between details, and these microns finally can influence the passivity of seating of the bridge time. So everything we're explaining during our master classes, and this is why the precision of the impression from the conometric cap is the most best whatever we can find in the prosthetic treatment while doing impressions. And of course, these are our new Viper K analogs that are for the plaster and for the printed models as well. And of course, the last one, what I found, that if you will start to use this, you will be one of the first in your region, and your patient wouldn't disappear, because if your patient will go to other clinic, he will be trapped, doctor will be trapped, because might be he has somewhere about the econometric, but if he goes like for regular T-base, he will stop because he wouldn't understand what to do. Just couple technical details, couple features, and you are more free to understand everything, and then you are more safety that your patients will come back to you, because we know that also sometimes patients are also traveling between clinics, and of course, if you started with him, you would like to finish with him. So it's also very important question as well.
So thank you so much, Dr. Dainius. It was really amazing insight, but we can't get enough of it. I would really like you to please elaborate something on the monolithics, because monolithic has conometric as well, the compressive and the basal.
Yeah, dear Dr. Salman, you are quite right. By the way, monolithic implants were the pioneers of this of this our product, because company a lot of years ago asked to find something for monolithics, because previously we had just cementing. Later on, we created multi-units and conométricas, and for today, monolithics became equal to possibilities to two-piece implants. Might be not so very equal regarding the let me say surrounding tissues, all aesthetic areas. For me, for example, monolithic implants are for cases when are atrophic, when we have older persons. We never ever will go for monolithic for anterior region with a red aesthetic demands. Monolithic implants have their field of usage, and we have to understand when we teach where to use them and where not to use, or maybe combine between monolithic and two-piece implants. It's also available with you having this kind of prosthetics. So yeah, you are right, and as I said, this type of implants where the demanding for such additional possibilities of prosthetic solutions, not just only cementing, and the conometric started with monolithic, not with two-piece implants. Later on, we created, these AK abutments with a shaft inside. We found much more additives for conometric while using two-piece implants, because two-piece implants, regular implants, are the most in usage. They in our clinic they take about maybe 80% of usage. Of course, we add monolithics where we have atrophy bones. We love pterygoids as well, because pterygoids are also like monolithic implants. But coming back to conometric, this is, as I said, also like for two-piece implants and monolithic implants as well. And here also we found some advantages while using this type of prosthetic solutions for monolithic. This is one of the very sensitive. It is retrievability, to remove the prosthetic whenever it will be necessary, even after 10 or 15 years. If it is necessary to cut everything in the mouth, it's a nightmare. We passed all this. Our department is about more than 40 years old. I worked in this department of implantology in university about 20 years, and we passed a lot about different kind of treatment of implants, everything. And this cutting in the mouth is not here for doctor, not here for patient. And every time previously we are looking for the possibilities of retrievability, and for today we are very free. And just knowing solutions, knowing products, knowing angulations, you can do everything what you want to do. And of course, the cement residues, as we previously have been discussed, aesthetics, we quickly will pass through this couple features of monolithic while treating on monolithic abutment, monolithic implant. Sorry. So here, take a look. Bridges, yes, and to take these kind of bridges, it will be very difficult to cut. You can sometimes understand it is metal of the abutment or metal of the bridge. Even for today, maybe it's easier, of course, while we have zirconia, thanks God. But anyway, to cut everything, it's very difficult. And if you imagine if you put crown and our bridge, and after 1 week or 1 day the patient comes and says, oh no, color is bad, or something with something occlusion is bad, and everything is cemented in the mouth, what to do? No, it's difficult. Of course, some drilling protocols should be taken attention, and we teach for monolithic to put implant until the level of the abutment, until the level of the bone. Of course, the bone is not very horizontal. Then we're taking a trepan and releasing the bone around the head of the abutment. And then we are free to put gingiva formers. We have factory-made gingiva formers. This is the instrument to remove. You see the same as our instrument, just without the polished nose, because when we are going in the bindings, we don't have shaft inside. We have a abutment, and then we reach the abutment, turning the instrument, and the detail comes out from the abutment very easily. shortened gingiva formers, for cutted compressive C abutments. All the same are available for K abutments as well, because K abutments are 5 millimeters, and cutted abutment of the monolithic implants, if you cut 2 millimeters from 7 to 5, will be more or less the same length like a K abutment. You can do the same with individualized gingiva formers, just while using the conométrics that are dedicated to compressive C implants, because these conométrics are a bit more narrow, because compressive K abutments of regular two-piece implants are a bit bigger of the shaft inside. So this is a compressive K monolithic or angulated abutments for two-piece implants have conométrics TCK, and compressive C implants with a bit more narrow abutment has their line of conometric caps that have TCE or TCES if it is cutted conometric caps, and also TCE1 or TCES1 is the mostly in usage in our practice. This is our old solutions previously, when we didn't have individualized zirconia abutments. We made something from composite. We put composite on conometric cap. We put on top of abutment the conometric cap with composite, to prepare our soft tissue bed. This has to be done in time of surgery, not after a couple months, but in time of surgery, everything has to be prepared. Here, for example, a zirconia, conometric gingiva formers. Well, I see that with additionally might be a composite with a splint on top of it, splint material. And if for K system we have shaft inside, and we can rule with a screw additionally and to tighten, here in monolithic connection we have possibility to use a small hammer and to make tack on top of it. Or if you have everything fixed with a prosthetic, you can give a cotton roll and ask patient to chew more to seat everything into final position of the conometric route. The retrievability is the same like we discussed previously. Just you have to remember that we have no shaft inside, so you have to use just either screw, or SR instrument, removable this instrument with cutted nose, and then everything lifts up from the construction. Previously, I used even crown remover, but crown remover sometimes is not so comfort for the patient. It becomes a bit more scared of this. But previously, we used this also as well. And if in case sometimes doctor wants somewhere in the front to put implant to bend, because the implant goes straight to the bad position for the shaft and bending. It is also possibility to make additionally cementing fixation. And we, while I was in university, we examined the possibility of conometric plus cementing fixation. We have a method while you have no cement in the soft tissues with this method, and bindings have possibility to refix everything from the mouth whenever it is necessary. We made 100 samples. We cemented with different cements, including very strong cements, as you see here. It is bonded conometric cap cemented to the abutment. This is our investigation. We just wanted to understand what are the possibilities of this binding that we patented, and take a look after the cementing, and we kept these 100 samples in the incubators about 2 weeks. We tried to remove these cemented constructions, and we have 100 success. So we teach this method as well, if in case sometimes or somewhere in the front, because front is not for conometric. Might be if it is more some bridges or something, but sometimes doctor asks for me, and so we even took a look additionally such kind of solution, if in case doctor put like a single implant, didn't maybe properly prepared soft tissues, maybe it's in the front, then he has this additional possibilities, and with the retrievability, as I said previously. This is a smaller area. We might be had a bit atrophic bone, and we have chosen monolithic implant, and here is crown seated on the single monolithic abutment. So we have transfers, we have analogs for this kind of implants, and a couple of clinical situations for the end of the lecture regarding the cement residues, regarding the aesthetic. Take a look, our also old cases. We have no holes here because, as I said previously, I like to use even crown remover, not to use screwdriver. Sometimes I remove with the crown remover for me because it was easy for me to understand what possibilities do we have. So you see the bridge. You see that our bridge is free of conometric crowns. They are not cemented in the lab. Now we prepared, we seated conometric crowns in the mouth. Then we cemented the bridge to the conometric crowns, refix it from the mouth, clean everything, and then passive and very precise fitting coming back to the mouth. We seat it without any screw. And it keeps very firmly, very well for very long years lasting. And you have emergency profile. You have nice soft tissues around even monolithic implants. And of course, as I said, two ways of retrievability if it is necessary. Also, old case, a friend of mine has a thin bone even today because the bridge is still in the mouth. It's about maybe, I think, more than 7 or 8 years. And take a look. This is still metal ceramic from the past, because for today we do metal ceramic very rarely, if in case metal somehow is very necessary, because most of our prosthetics are zirconia. And we have, again, tonometric crowns free from the bridge. We cemented everything in the mouth to have the most passive fixation. Then we refixed the bridge, clean everything, nice, passive, without any cement. Bridge comes back to the mouth, no occlusion holes, the most aesthetic and passive, and with the possibility of retrievability. This is what we're streaming for all our prosthetic solutions. Here we didn't use crown remover, we left open hole, and again, conometric, prepared for cementation in the mouth. We cemented the bridge. We opened this side for winding, for reaching the windings. Now you see the screwdriver screw that is inside the windings. Everything refixed from the conometric refixes from the abutments. We clean everything nice. Everything is very passive because cone requires to be seated to the maximum end position and to close everything tight. So if you do cementation in the lab, sometimes you are in the risky that might be some in the bridge type. Some cones will be in the final position, or might be some cones will be not, because these discrepancies might appear of the impression of the model and of the technical details as well. So we also teach how to manage with this and to have most passive and nice seating in the mouth. So one open hole, and then the prosthetic comes back on the monolithic. So tell me, where is monolithic, or where is the difference between two-piece classical? Because this is also emergency profile. We have no cement with the retrievability, everything what is necessary. This is the case of lady. She is an invalid. And for me, was very important to do as simple as it is possible. So we even did flapless, but of course, for conometric flapless, it's necessary to have more skill, because usually we ask to do small flaps to prepare the bed for conometric. But this is the reason, because, as I said, patient was invalid. It was a quite big patient, cannot turn the head. So we did everything as simple as it possible. And we made lower total prosthetic, fixed on conometric crowns. Take a look, no hole in all prosthetics. And when she comes for hygiene, for clinic of prosthetics, like technical construction, we are removing it with crown remover in couple seconds. In couple seconds, tuck, 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 everything in our hands. Meanwhile, if it will be multi-units, we have to open 4 or here 6 holes, to take Teflon, to retake, unscrew, take, coming back, screw everything. It's very difficult with hair. So sometimes these solutions are also very important, very mandatory for service mode, as I said previously. And this is the, again, thickness of the prosthetics also is very, very nice. And of course, thank you, dear Dr. Salman, because you shared with me. We wrote a couple articles regarding conometric and monolithic implants as well. But here our colleagues also wrote articles, and it's very interesting to read and to take a look what they found while using this type of method, and what their comments about this. And thank you for sharing these articles with me. And I will take this as also I will take time to take a look, to sit and to find what is interesting, what is also important and useful for me, despite that we created this type for our company. But of course, from surroundings information is also very important, and you can find from some guys or ladies, of course, some interesting solution, and you can add. And now I would like to thank you, but I promise you to show my mom. This is my fresh case from today. Take a look. What gives at the time good implants that we put about, as I said, I can remember exactly, but about maybe 15 or more years ago. And what aging did, everything came down. For today, I have no possibilities, something to do more natural, because I'm limited of the possibility of prosthetic. Meanwhile, take a look at what we've done now. Yeah, on this fresh, she lost the root, she lost the tooth, 44. We put our implant, we submerge this implant. I am not sure, but it might be, it will be 2, 3, maybe sometimes in some place 4 millimeters, because well, it was horizontal. And take a look of the profile, and I'm sure that for the future it will have much more possibilities comparing to this what we had previously, what we've done previously. So, as I said, for me, for today, econometric solutions are the best. For molar and primary, I say like top. So
thank you so much, Dr. Dainius. It was really amazing. It was really, really amazing. It was a completely different insight about econometric solutions, and the way you presented it, especially the cases which has really long-term results, which is rarely seen. 14 years, it's good. Like a case of 15 years, it's something commendable. Also, one more thing, we had few questions. So yep. I think most of the doctors here who are also using one piece, they would love to hear about how econometric solution makes the life easier, because most of the doctors using monolithic implants, compressive C and B, like compressive and basal, for them the challenge is, if they're doing cement, it's impossible to retrieve the cement. And most of the patients, just after 7 days, they will come in the clinic and they will say, I'm having some issues. Probably because of inflammation, or probably because of cement-retained mucositis. So this is something which gives you the benefit of both. So you get the benefit and aesthetics of cement retained, and you get the retrievability of the screw retained. So it's supposed to be one of the best solutions available in the market. And I think once someone will start using conometric, he will not go back to the regulars.
Like yeah, like I told like me for today, especially when we started to use individualized gingival formers, it is like a top of the prosthetic treatment. It's a top for me. If I wouldn't have experience, maybe I can just try to understand someone's comments. But here by myself, I'm doing a lot of prosthetic, and I can compare what was previous, what we have from this. And as I said, for today, for me, for this smaller premolar area, conometric solution with these individual gingival forms are like a top of everything.
So also about the results speaks for themselves. Amazing tissue quality. You have like I don't see I have seen any beautiful emergence profile in mandible like the one in your cases. It's really very beautiful emergence profile. Plus, you get the possibility of using zirconia healing abutments, which is proven that it will create less infiltrate in the gingival clavicular fluid, so you will not have any issues. So I think you wrote an article about GCF and inflammation. So if anyone wants to read it, any of the articles you want to read it, you can contact me, or you can write an email. We will send you all the articles about the product. And most of the articles are recent, which are published around in 23, 24, and 2022, 23, 24. So it's amazing. And one more, I have something for all of you. I would love to present something, a quick. So we have an amazing masterclass coming up with Dr. Dainius. It will be in Kaunas, Lithuania, and this is an amazing tour. We will have a city tour, and this is the package. So if you are interested, you can actually scan the QR code and book the package. And we look forward to see you in Kaunas. Dr. Dainius will explain everything which is in relation to conometric, how to combine conometric with two-piece and monolithic implants, basal and compressive, and how the conometric caps work, what is the workflow, both conventional as well as digital. And see you guys there. So I think we'll wrap it up for today. It was really amazing, Dr. Dainius. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you for
again.
your time. And if you have any queries, you can write us. If you have any questions, you can write us. We will reply you. And we will also, we will keep this continuous every month. So every 1 month, you will have a new webinar with a new prestigious speaker, and he will talk about his experience on using that specific system. So thank you so much. Enjoy the evening. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you,
Dainius.
yeah, Dr. Salman, for your moderating, and it was very nice. And wish our colleagues the best for the future, for their treatment solutions, and hope for meeting soon somewhere. Might be in Dubai or somewhere.
Yeah,
So,
Dubai, probably in Attic.
yeah, yeah, my friend.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thanks again. Have a nice evening. Have a nice night. Bye bye. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.